What's up, everyone? How y'all doing tonight? Let me know if y'all can hear me clearly. Let me know if I'm chopping up. I should be fine, but let me know. Should be fine, but just let me know if I'm chopping up. How y'all doing tonight? Been a while since we did a show. Hope everybody having a good night. Got a lot to talk about. Y'all know we got a lot to talk about. Let me know if my mic is clear. Let me know if y'all can hear me clearly. Let me know if everything is going all right. What's going on, Mighty Neek? What is going on? Let me know if y'all can hear me clear. Be back. Right. Y'all know we got a lot to talk about tonight. Y'all already know. Now this thing want to act slow tonight. I don't know what is going on with it, but we gonna push through it. All right, cool. So y'all know we've been having a rough week tonight. Rough week period in the SWAC situation. Deion Sanders, then lost her mind. I watched that clip over, and I've seen some of y'all comments. Y'all said the guy into stuff like that, so I definitely can kind of see that now. But regardless, though, saying stuff like that is always going to be harmful for HBCUs, and we need to get away from people doing stuff like that. HBCUs have issues. We know this. We're not shying away from that. There's things that we could do better, but
you have to understand that there are forces out there that want to see HBCUs fail, and so you can't continue to get HBCUs. Like the rhetoric that Shannon Sharp, I love Shannon Sharp, man. I love Undisputed. I love Shannon Sharp. I love Undisputed. But his platform is way too big for him to get on TV and be careless with the things that he say. So he got on there today and talked about, the Ed Reed situation, the Ed Reed firing or contract ending, and he brought up HBCUs saying that they just as worse as Bethune-Cookman, and that wasn't true. And so you can't put stuff like that out there because people will believe that. Somebody that's never heard of Alcorn or Prairie View today will think Prairie View and Alcorn School is just as worse as is just as bad as Bethune-Cookman. And that's not the kind of stuff that you want to put out there about our schools because we're already fighting battles as it is. So we don't need somebody with big platforms like that to get online saying this crazy stuff. And you're from an HBCU, so I be real disappointed in him sometimes when he gets on TV and just says whatever he wants. Yeah, make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Make sure y'all hit that like button. I also want the detractors to call in tonight. When I open the lines, I'll call tonight. This is the night that y'all need to call. This is I want the smoke tonight. I want the smoke. So I want all y'all to call as soon as I open up the phone lines, the ones that be woofing in the comments, and all that kind of stuff. I want y'all to call in tonight. I just heard Mississippi Valley State was added to the HBCU list. What are you talking about? The people that give the most criticism about HBCU don't understand the funding of PWI versus HBCU. And yeah, that's one of the big things that they don't understand. Like these governments that's in these states, they look at HBCUs as a waste of time for them. They have no connection to HBCUs. They don't have family. They go to HBCUs. They don't have friends to go to HBCUs. So they don't prioritize giving our schools money. They don't prioritize that because they don't see it as a waste of time because they're racist. Most of them are racist. Like, let's just be honest, they're racist. But because they have no connection to the school, they see it as a waste of time. So they'll have a connection to a Mississippi State, or Ole Miss, Florida or Florida State. They'll have connections to schools like that because they know somebody that went to a school like that. They got a friend that went to that school. So they'll be more willing to help those schools getting instead of an HBCU because they have no connection to them. SWAC Buzz, stop loving people that don't have the collective's best interests. You're the problem. Stop loving people that don't have the collective best interests. The primates. Hold on, what Steve Campbell say? The primates are not going to call in. I want them to call in. Dr. Campbell, I want them to call in. I want them to call in because they do a lot of woofing in the comments and stuff like that. And trust and believe. And I try to tell them I do not have no hate in my body for Deion Sanders and his family. I hope they go off and do great things. If I did, this platform would have been a hate Coach Prime platform. And that's not what it is. I could easily be getting buku views and money if I made this a hate Coach Prime channel, but I won't do that because that's not my aim. My aim is to provide a platform for HBCU and SWAC fans. That's my aim. So I would never do nothing like that, So I hope they go off and do great things, but at the same time, y'all don't need to be speaking ill will on our schools. If you're not gonna speak positive of our schools, you need to stop talking about us. Because Coach Prime came to Jackson State to build something. He did something great. Now that you're gone, you don't want to tarnish that. You want to keep that legacy going. You know, this whole thing with them leaving and all this stuff that's going on, it's been ugly, man. It's been like, I can't believe it. It could have been so much better. Like I was saying in my previous video, if Coach Prime would have done this thing right, he could have had both fan bases supporting him at the games. I guarantee you, if he would have done this thing right, left pleasantly, I guarantee you during a bye week, Jackson State fans went up to Colorado to watch college. So I just don't get like the little shots and the little shade and stuff like that. It's not gonna do us. It's not gonna do either side any good, because now you're making it look like you're throwing it in people's face. Well, let me open up the phone lines and so we can get the dialogue and the conversation started. 1 second. I think I already got a call. Y'all be having a number. Remember, y'all. What's going on, Carl? You live? Talk to me.
Man, I tell you what, man, it's been a crazy weekend with Ed Reed. You know, I think his, you know, I think what he's saying wasn't wrong, but his approach, his delivery was wrong. You know, and he thought he could do it like Prime did it, but Prime ain't cussing nobody out.
Yeah. One thing about him, he's very professional. He know how to conduct himself like a professional.
And then Deandra, she just should have just kept her damn mouth shut. Now, she living in Atlanta, don't have nothing to do with Jackson. And then while she was here in Jackson, she was kicking it. Every time she came down, they treated her like royalty. She was kicking it, you know.
Yeah.
And then check this out too now, which I didn't know, and I don't think Ed Reed was lying about it. He said Prime called him and asked him if he was interested in the Jackson State job. You know, so
that may be true, but that doesn't mean that Jackson State offered him the job. You know,
that's true. That's true. Yeah. I'd say Jackson State offered him the job. You know, that's all well and true. I guess my point was this right here. If he went to Ed Reed about the job, that means T.C. Taylor wasn't his first choice. You know, it wasn't Prime's first choice. I don't
know if I would necessarily say that. I would say he probably wanted to get someone in there that had NFL connections to kind of keep those, that money, keep that money rolling in and keep that notoriety, keep the notoriety going. You know, and plus, Ed Reed is his partner, so he probably wanted to help his partner out. You know, I don't know how close him and T.C. Taylor is, but I can imagine they're probably not close like that. You know, because he didn't take him to Colorado with him. So I don't probably think they were friends. You know, go ahead.
And man, and then I saw the video of Bethune-Cookman, with the rat running across the floor. And then Ed Reed had the key, letting the contractors and I guess what you call it, the person that checks the building code.
Yeah, I seen the video where he let people in the old building that yeah.
And then I'm gonna say this, and I'm pretty sure other people was ready to call in.
Yeah.
And then I like how the kids protested. Talking about no air conditioning, the mold, and then with the cafeteria with the food being undercooked. What you think about that?
Well, I think right now you know, they have a goal now, and they're going to use this time to really voice their opinions and their concerns. And hey, it's the perfect time to do it. You got the spotlight on you,
Right.
and so anything that's been going on at the school that you didn't like, you're gonna voice your opinion about it so it can get fixed. So I don't blame them for doing it. You know, if stuff like
No,
that
me
is
neither.
going on, mold and all that kind of stuff is going on, that should definitely be fixed. But let me get some of these
Yeah, I
other
mean,
calls, bro.
okay, man. All
All
right,
right,
hey, I'm be checking you out.
all right. Thank you.
All right, man.
All right, all right. Let me get to the next caller. Hold
Hey, can you hear me, Sweat Bud?
on.
Hold on. Hello? Sorry
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, real quick, brother. The problem that I've been seeing lately, with all this, I'm gonna call it what it is, bashing HBCU.
Yeah,
And I can start with Deion Sanders, Ed Reed, it don't matter. Dr. Jason, he's a professor at HBCU. He explained it way better than I can with way more professionalism. These drive-by coaches, YouTubers, all these people are coming to bash HBCUs, but they do not understand when you have a land grant HBCU and a land grant PWI to get money to research in the same field, that land grant PWI gets X amount of money and the HBCU get less than X amount of money. In quality of life for students also. So when people are saying that HBCU facilities are this and that, they really don't have the money, because the money that they are actually getting, the tuition wise, we know it costs less to go to a HBCU, but you're still getting a great education. But they don't have where you can go spend, like LSU spent $17 million on a freshman dorm. That's just one instance. I can go on and give you more and more of that. But these guys are coming into programs and stuff that they think they know what's going on, but they think their popularity can make these presidents, squeeze blood out of a turnip. And I think they mean well. I think they really do love those children, them young men and women playing sports. But it's a way you got to go about doing it. And I'm not saying you got to go up there and kiss butt. If Ed Reed wanted to cuss out somebody, why didn't you go cuss out Ron DeSantis, or go cuss out the HBCU is a private school and they're Methodist? Go cuss out the Methodist Church. Those are the people that's giving the funding to those schools, and nobody really wants to talk about that. They just want to bash the school. And you got to understand, this ain't just started 5-6 years ago. You got to go back to 1992. That's the first time that they had to create a actual commission for HBCUs to actually get money, land grant money for these colleges.
See
what you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. See what Ed Reed messed up at. He thought he was bigger than the job. He came that he thought that people were gonna get on their knees and praise him and be happy that he came to HBCU. He never seen that they were gonna fire him or not go through with the contract. He never thought that would happen. That's why he was talking the way he talked. It's just like somebody that makes 6 figures. You got a 6-figure job and you lose your job and you end up having to take a job that's paying you $50,000. And then but you go on the job acting like you too good for it because you coming from a $100,000 salary. You going on the job acting like you too good for it, and then but you broke though. You would not have no job if you didn't take this job. So you have to go there, work that job, treat those people like you would at their 6-figure job, so you can go on to the next. So if he had plans to be your Power 5 coach, he should have came there, acted right, did work hard, and did put his head down and did his job, and then you could go on and do what you need to do in the future. He overplayed himself.
Yes, and now Shannon Sharp, and I don't know how much y'all listen to Shannon Sharp, but Shannon Sharp been buck dancing, shucking and jiving for a couple of years now. He tried to he goes back to playing with Mr. Charlie, making them people at Fox feel comfortable. Shannon Sharp has think about it. Deion Sanders was at Jackson State for 3 years. Never went on First Take or whatever his show called. Never interviewed that man. But I talk to him every day. He never been on your show. As soon as he go to Colorado, now y'all doing these podcasts or whatever thing they do. I've been watching the flick, but the dog you try to be just like a lot of these YouTubers. Get on there and get your little face out there and make some snappy comments. And then when you sit back and listen to what you said, like, damn, I sound like an idiot. Whatever happened at Jackson State while you was there, you should have left it at Jackson State. You in Lily White College, Colorado, and trust me, don't come back to the SWAC and to HBCU when they treat you like the N-word, because it's gonna happen. Colorado is one of the most racist states in America, and just because you playing a sport for them, don't win and see what happens. Don't win 10 or 12 games in that football season. And Colorado basketball team. My point is, these people sit there. HBCUs treat each other like royalty. Y'all did turn with Coach Sanders coming there, Deion Sanders coming there to Jackson State. You started something. To me, you sold a fake Black Power dream. That's fine. Coaches lie all the time. But the shade that y'all throwing at these HBCUs makes no sense. It's already for a black person that go to a PWI to get a job. Now these are think about the regular students that go to enjoy their little white colleges in Colorado and Ed Reed. I don't care how many apologies that you try to make, bruh. When you cuss me out like that on the internet and you get millions of views, you really think I'm gonna give you a job? Now I'm gonna hang up and listen, bro.
All right, thank you for the call.
All right,
let me get to the next call. Mr. Ford, I'm gonna get you out there. What's going on, caller? You live? Talk to me.
Hey, what's going on, SWAC, bro?
What's going on?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, talk to me.
Let's be clear about something. A month ago, after Coach Prime left, what was the 3 names that the majority people calling in on your show and a lot of other HBCU shows? What were the names that everybody was putting out there wanting to be the coach at Jackson State and other schools?
I think those were the 3.
Cam Newton.
Yeah, Cam Newton. Yeah. I thought that was a joke though.
But it's mighty funny. Everybody was calling those names, and Ed Reed's name, for the life of me, was coming out of nowhere as being a coach. And a lot of folks said Jackson wanted. I called in and was saying, hey, TC should get the job first because he's been there and he's actually played for the university. But, it seemed like he was going to be passed up for the job because I think it seemed like once Jackson State had Prime and he was leaving, that all of a sudden we need another celebrity coach, which really wasn't the reality. Now, I think Ed Reed has been honest in a lot of his outbursts or whatever you want to call it, his passion, because Deion probably called and said, hey, I'm getting ready to bust up. You want, take a shot over here at Jackson. And of course, if Reed has already been in Miami and worked with the University of Miami, Bethune is right up the road versus coming over to Mississippi. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I get a chance to do what some of the things you've done at Jackson at Bethune. Now, here's my personal thing. I think Ed got there and it was much bigger than he thought it was. And all this BS talk with, looking at the interview from AU, the basketball coach, and saying, well, this, that, and the other. Well, one, how he had him teased, what golf cart was he riding around while he was already in Bethune-Cookman gear. It's just a lot of mess. And whether you want to believe Ed Reed or not, listening to these students from Mr. Bethune, Miss Bethune, SGA president, all of them, these kids not lying.
No, they're not.
And I just think it got there and it was too much for them. Because these kids, the kids are speaking out now are not necessarily football. The football had its own sets of issues, but with this mold and all this other stuff, and we keep talking about this hurricane stuff. Here's my thing. When you live in the state of Florida, it's two insurances you need to have: hurricane insurance and flood insurance.
Right. See,
so if the university, you can't tell me you have an institution and this is a private university. You got to have insurance that you ain't have no money for hurricanes and floods, especially being located in the Daytona Beach area.
Yeah, I think when he first came, he started doing those videos. I think the administration, they seen where this was going, because he started saying, "Call me Coach Kane" and all this other kind of stuff. Like he was trying to mimic what Coach Prime was doing already, and they was like, "Nah, we just gonna get away. We just gonna get away from this." And the students are mad because they want someone that's gonna bring resources and things to the school. But I actually think Bethune-Cookman may shock people and get somebody that can also bring resources into the school, because he said the AD said that the short list had other like prominent celebrity type people on that list. So he may pull from that list and get somebody in there that can actually bring resources into the program. He said that's an important thing for this job. So he wants somebody like that. So who knows who they might pick.
I mean, but let's be honest. Once they announced Ed Reed several weeks ago, as a football fan, you announced he was going to be the coach. Y'all didn't have no press conference yet, and y'all already know the transfer portal. Think about this. Coach Prime left right on time because guess what? That transfer portal was opening that Monday, right? So he can get to work. Now, he's been working in Colorado, and their contract wasn't even signed yet because, remember, you had one of the regents who didn't want Colorado to hire Coach Prime or spend that much money on a coach, right? That story came out. So, to me, it was not looking right from a business perspective with Bethune, because you hired him, and then he's going to not start to the first of the year when everybody has been doing these flips and commitments, and now the next signing day for students is not until February. So, yes, I believe he was coming in and working without the contract already, the same way Deion, as soon as he left Jackson State, he hit the ground in Colorado. He didn't rechange the damn office and everything. And probably the contract hadn't been signed yet. I think Ed was trying to do the same things, but these issues, I'm not going to go against these students that's there and they've been suffering with some mess, with some mold and stuff like that. And anybody on this channel, if you had a kid there, which I got a daughter that's down at Fisk University, if she was dealing with something like this.
You know what the real problem is? We're going to get deep. As a black man, we are taught that in the workplace, you can't be overly emotional like that. So when he's on TV, flipping out like that, being overly emotional, like we're taught, like as a man, you got to conduct yourself a certain way. You have to always show poise. You can't be in your emotions like that on TV, on national TV, because they already think the worst. You know what I'm saying? And so he actually think that he gonna get a coaching job at a PWI if you're sitting out there portraying that kind of image and stereotype. I don't think Bethune-Cookman wanted that to represent their school. I think when he, I feel like he would have been okay after the video. He just came out and said that he was sorry, and that he apologized for it, and he left it at that. But I think the continued outbursts and the stuff that he was doing afterwards, I think they was like, yeah, no, we done.
I mean, okay, so here's the thing. I was listening to a former student who was the equipment manager who called into one of the other channels the other day. They were speaking with him on the conditions and everything and what he experienced. And he wasn't a football player because he couldn't play, but he was working with the team. And he talked about the mold in the helmets, having to share helmets and stuff like that. After listening to that man, as a father, as a husband, I was sitting here damn near crying in tears.
Who wants to share somebody's helmet? Like, come on.
Yeah. So we can, we can say where Ed shouldn't have showed his emotions. Hey, where some people didn't like it, others are loving it, because at the end of the day, like I said, I think he went in, and sometimes you can go into a situation and it's even too much for you to handle. And like I said, he was only there to be the football coach. These students who've been coming out in these protests is bigger than Ed. So that means these issues have been there, as a lot of these young ladies have been talking about, and all this other stuff of, well, we didn't like his language. We at Christian University. Well, you wouldn't have none of them damn rappers coming performing for homecoming, because that's all they doing is talking about D's and H's and all their music.
Right.
So let's just get away from all that.
All right.
So, I'm not mad at him showing emotion, but I'm really upset of seeing what them students outside of the football program have been having to deal with.
All right.
And
let me get to
answer.
I don't want to cut y'all, but let me get to the next call. Thank you for calling, and thank you for being on the show. All right, let me get to the next call. But like I said, okay, we understand showing your emotions. We understand that. But you have to know how to do it, because you don't want the issue to turn into the way you're acting emotionally. You gave them an out when you did that. You could have just voiced your concerns privately and been sincere with it and made sure it got done. And then if it didn't happen privately, then you could come out professionally out to the public and let them know your concerns. But when you get emotional like that, you make it into that instead of the real issues. All right, let me get the next call on here. What's going on? Call to you live. Talk to me.
Hey, this is Mr. Ford. How you doing?
What's going on, Mr. Ford?
Listen, two things. Number one, I want everybody in your chat and that's listening to this, go back and read a book. It was written by Chinua Achebe. It was called Things Fall Apart. And what the book is about, it tells you how the Europeans used divide and conquer on our ancestors, or the Africans, to take their land. Fast forward to today, they use in our colleges and athletics to have us fussing and bickering. I refuse to say anything else about these people up on the screen, because all of them irrelevant. Ed Reed is irrelevant. That Deion's daughter and Shannon Shaw, you can ask all of them right now what's their nationality, and they wouldn't even know. You think I'm thinking to talk about them? Bump them. Now, the other thing I would like is that everybody in the chat go and look at this article that was written by Forbes magazine. And what Forbes magazine is saying is that in the last 30 years, at a minimum, the federal government and the state governments have stolen $12 billion from HBCU land grant colleges. Okay? And so that's where I wish we could focus our attention.
Yeah.
The next thing is 247 Sports just published an article, and they said it's going to be a banner year for recruiting for HBCUs next Wednesday. As you know, next Wednesday is the signing day.
Mm-hmm.
They've all, according to 247, Jackson State is number 1. Florida A&M is number 2. This is for the black schools. Texas Southern is number 3. But I'm just saying, this is what this is all about. See, y'all didn't understand. I tried to tell y'all last year. When that boy Travis Hunter told them white folks up here in Atlanta, bump Florida State, I'm going to Jackson State. See, white folks ain't like us. They go into what is called think tanks, and they come up with ideas to destroy us, to cause chaos and confusion, to divide and conquer us. That's what this is all about. That's why I ain't talking about it no more. Because I told you, they've been doing this to us for 500 years. The only reason you don't know about it is because you won't read. You won't do no research. Now, the other thing, I am so happy for Fisk University. As you know, they are doing very well in gymnastics. I think they're the only HBCU that's right now in gymnastics. Talladega has announced that they too are getting ready to start a gymnastics team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you know about us now. You know one thing about y'all, about us. Anytime they let us in, you know what we do, right? We take over.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for those schools to eventually take over. Now, what you want me to do? Did you want me to stay on, or do you want me to? You want me to do?
You can stay on because I'm gonna get other callers on, and they probably want to get your input on some stuff too. All right, let's get to the next call.
All right.
What's going on, Carly Live? Talk to me.
What's going on, Swag Buzz, man? I was so glad that you did your live, man. Because you and Mr. Ford, man, is why I subscribe, man. Y'all are knowledgeable and y'all bring up valid points, man. And I know Mr. Ford. First of all, how y'all doing? I should have spoke first, but
hey,
man,
how you
doing? Good.
But y'all the reason why I tune in, and that makes so much sense. And I know Mr. Ford didn't say he didn't want to talk about it, but let me take your spot, Mr. Ford. I do want to say something. This is what my problem is that the fact of where people need to know there is decency and order. Whether Ed Reed was some type of right or however, it's a type of decorum that you got to have. And the nerve of these people, and I'm gonna call them turncoats, to talk against a HBCU. You got your degree from the HBCU and put it all down. First of all, they need to know and then be reminded. Everybody should know, and I'm glad Mr. Ford brought that up. Everybody know that HBCUs are at a decline when it comes to funding compared to a PWI, because it's the scale is not the same. It's never been the same. And the nerve of them to put down a school that you either graduated from, or like Swag Bud said, you got blacks there against their own. But here's the real deal. Ed Reed wouldn't have the platform he ever had if it wasn't for these HBCUs that he did not do his research on. He is playing the position, or played a position, that they said at one point in time we weren't even smart enough to even play that position. But in order for him to have that, the HBCU made that possible. To the nerve of him, anybody else, and the nerve of the people who have graduated from an HBCU to talk down on an HBCU. If your pocketbook,
I don't know where they coming from.
Your mouth said.
I don't know where they. Yeah, I'm here. I said I don't know where they coming from. Where are these people coming from? Like we got a new breed. We got a new breed of black folks out here right now. Like it's shocking.
I tell you, you know what you're saying, and it's sad because, like to say, they sit up here and just so soon to forget, or soon somebody. It's just like you've been getting a hot meal at your house, and then you get a little piece of dessert somewhere else, and then you'll put what you got down, forget what you done got, or you know what I'm saying. Then on top of that, it be people that's talking. They not even donate. They ain't never gave nothing to no HBCU. That's why I say if they pocketbook
added up to what they mouth be running like, we would get out of some of this deficit. They got so much to say, and then these people want to jump on what they already got to say. But and then like I say, these people that sitting up here talking, you're not sending your kids to an HBCU, you're not giving to no type of funding, you're not giving to a band, you're not giving to an endowment. You need to shut your mouth. Don't say nothing else about an HBCU. There are other things to talk about. Worry about your own affairs. We got it over here. This is the nerve of them to talk about stuff on here, man. It's sickening, man. Because again, to downplay something, and then here's another thing they said, Sweatbook, and I know you and Mr. Ford heard, talking about, well, he can go to another PWI. Last time I checked, the school that he made famous, him and Deion, they both had openings at one point in time. Why they didn't give them assistant coaching job? Why they didn't give them defensive coordinator job? Why they didn't give them a head coaching job? They had to come to a HBCU, which is the only school that gave them an opportunity, and you're going to bite the hand that feeds you. The nerve of you. The nerve of you. That's like I go in your house, tell you that I want meatloaf and I need the temperature to 67 degrees. I ain't paying no bills in your house, but I'm going to tell you what I want to do. It's a decorum about everything. And like I said, I just want people to shut their mouth. If you're not going to help and aid, shut your mouth. They got an old saying, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, keep your mouth closed. But thanks, guys. Good talking to y'all.
Thank you for the call. Callers that just hung up, you can call back and I get you on the show. But yeah, man, it's like the stuff that I'm seeing online, Mr. Ford. It's like I'm saying it's like a new breed. That's all I can say. It's like a new breed. Let me get this call. See who this is. Hold on.
Okay.
What's going on, Carly? Live, talk to me.
How you guys doing this evening?
What you say now?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So how are y'all doing this evening?
You sound kind of muffled. Can you speak into the phone?
Okay, hold on 1 second.
All right.
Okay, how about now? How I sound?
Oh yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, how you guys doing?
Yeah, we doing good.
All right, how you doing? Okay, good. Now I just have a point. I understand definitely the way Ed Reed outburst was. It didn't help, but this is the problem that I have. Have you noticed? Did you listen to the Roland Martin interview with the president?
Yeah.
And did you listen or did you watch the 80s interview?
Yeah.
As well.
And I didn't like those interviews.
Hello?
I didn't like those interviews because I thought he was making a lot of excuses. He was kind of sidestepping stuff and making a lot of excuses, talking about that's not really mold, that's mildew. What?
Yeah.
Really, dude? Like, it don't matter if it's mold or mildew. This shouldn't be going on, period. Like, that was kind of silly. But go ahead.
Okay, so you saw it. So did you see the part where the president said, we do have facilities? And then the AD said, no, we don't have those facilities. So somebody was lying.
Yeah, from what I heard, they don't really have a locker room. They don't have a practice field. They got to go out. They got to go out for a practice field. They got to go outside the campus for a practice field and all that.
But if you watch what Roland asked the president, that he lied about it.
Yeah.
And so the thing about it is, my point I'm bringing that up to is the fact that you got the president and the AD, they aren't even seeing eye to eye. So to me, it shows it's a lot going on with that administration. And I honestly feel that the reason why Ed blew up, and he was wrong for doing it, especially in his position, but I feel like the reason why he blew up is because, first of all, they gave him the keys and they used them basically to recruit. Because, just like you said, Deion had to start recruiting early, even though he didn't have his contract yet. So they used Ed to recruit those players. Because he had to start working to recruit those players, but yet they still didn't give the man a contract. But all the while, they was using him to recruit those players. So when he got to the campus and he saw what he saw, he just lost it. And I believe that's why he went off the way he did, But the crazy thing about it is, like I said, you got a president saying, "Yeah, we got these facilities," but then you got the athletic director saying, "No, we don't."
Yeah,
but nobody's taking accountability
I make no
for the
excuse.
students.
I made no excuses for the president. Like the administration at Bethune-Cookman has issues. They have issues, and I
And what I'm saying, so that's really
they
the
could be
root of all
replaced.
of this.
Yeah, but my thing, but what we're saying, what people are saying about Ed Reed is that you messed up by the way you presented it. You could have went behind the scenes, or you could have brought it to the public in a professional manner. Because see what you did, you gave them an out. You gave those people, you hadn't even signed you hadn't even finalized your contract yet. At least finalize your contract before you blow up like that, because at that point, they'll have to buy you out your contract to get rid of you. You know, so they will be more reluctant to doing that. But just to go off on the handle before your contract is even done, that was irresponsible to me. I think he might have hung up. I think we might have lost him. Let me get to the next caller. What's going on, caller? You live? Talk to me.
Hello?
Yeah, you live. Talk to me.
How you doing, man? Only point what I really wanted to make is for the people who say that just because somebody it seems to be that if somebody call out something that they see, most people say that you talking down on the HBCU. But it's like we talk about everything else and people don't see that as talking down on something. Like if you see somebody with a flat tire, you're not talking down on their car or calling their car not good. You're just calling out the point. So to say, oh, y'all talking down on the HBCU, it's just like to neglect the point that we talking about. Like why we just can't talk about what we talking about.
So what Shannon Sharp did was talking down on HBCU, because that what he said wasn't true. He talked about Prairie View. He put Prairie View and Alcorn in the same sentence as Bethune-Cookman, saying that, you know, they don't have the facilities and all that. And Prairie View has some of the nicest facilities in the SWAC. They got money over there at Prairie View because they in Texas, and their state does a little bit better by them than the other states do, the other HBCUs. So they got nice facilities. So it was wrong to put them in the same vein as Bethune-Cookman, because somebody probably never heard of a Prairie View. But for you to say that, they're gonna automatically think, oh, Prairie View is another Bethune-Cookman, a school that don't really got facilities and they got a lot of issues and stuff going on, when that wasn't true. So when people say, you know, you're talking down on HBCU, that's a good example of that. But I understand what you're saying. When there are issues to be talked about, we definitely should bring that to people's attention without saying that, you know, you're just talking down on HBCU. I agree with you on that. Go ahead.
And one other point I wanted to make is I agree with you on that. That's a valid point. Like if somebody is just like I agree that like from the aspect of Deion, like you already left. Like when you keep bringing up stuff, it's like you reaching. That's why I agree with you on that point. It's like he is reaching. It's like why you keep bringing it up. I understand if you're in the interview and somebody asks you a question.
Yeah.
But if you even look at some of the YouTube content, when they be like, oh, we left, so this better, that better, that better, it's like they reaching. So I agree with you on that. But I also think, in my opinion, I understand Ed Reed acted off emotion, but I honestly agree for the benefit of the student and the benefit of the overall to help the facility. I think he should have got another chance, just in my opinion. Just based off of overall, it's going to help overall more than it's going to hurt.
What I think is him doing the emotional outbursts made them feel uncomfortable making him the head coach, because you got somebody that's that unstable emotionally. What you think he gonna do in pregame speech? I mean, halftime speech. What you think he gonna? What you think he gonna do post game speech?
I was listening to this other YouTube creator, and he was saying like some people might see like Ed Reed yelling like that, like he might choking one of the players. Well, I agree, but even though he never been in a situation like that, but he still got to know how to behave himself because he got to understand now you're in a bigger spotlight. Even though you Ed Reed, now it's way more people paying attention to you now, and you got to set a good example for your players. So you're right about that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the call.
All right, keep up the good work, bro.
All right, thank you. Caller that just hung up, you can call back. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all smash up the likes. Let's hit the like button. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Mr. Ford, you still there?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So how would you have handled the situation if you were Ed Reed?
You mean as far as what?
Like if you had concerns about the issues, that's going on in Bethune-Cookman and stuff like that. I mean, I know you wouldn't have got on IG Live and did a whole outburst, but how you think that he should have handled it?
Well, when you're part of an organization, you're part of a university or a college. That's an organization. Certain things are not supposed to be discussed. Like, how they say you go to Vegas, you leave that stuff in Vegas.
Yeah.
When you take a job at Bethune-Cookman, you're supposed to meet first with Reggie Fields, then the faculty rep, then you go to the vice presidents, the deans. It's a chain of command. It's called protocol. And historically, we've had a problem with protocol.
Right.
Okay. But you don't come out and blast the school. Like one of your callers just said, these people are ungrateful. This is who's going to pay you and you're going to blast it. Listen, if I had said what he said about my school, because we don't have everything at my school. We got problems too now. But I can't just go out and blast them and then think I'm going to come back and I'm going to have a job.
Yeah.
You can't do that. But I'm going to say this right here. Like I said, I really don't want to talk about Ed Reed. I was so happy when he got that job. I was either
I was too.
What's my man from out in Texas? Doc. Either Doc told me or Blue told me. One of them told me that he had got the job. I was so happy. But after I saw, somebody called and said, man, you got to see this. When I saw that, ain't no way I could send nobody to play for him. Yeah. I can't send nobody to play for him. Never. And I love all black colleges. But I couldn't send nobody to play for him. I sent kids all over the SWAC, the MEAC, SIAC, CIAA. I could never send anybody to play for him. But when you're a part of an organization, that is a protocol. But we got that slave mentality where it's okay to lose your composure and go off, and then we call that passionate. And the other thing I want to say too, I hope he's listening. That lawyer up there in Tallahassee, Crump, isn't his name Benjamin Crump? He needs to get off his ass and go down there to Daytona and talk to them kids. And the other person is that lady, Val Demings. Val's supposed to be big in the Democratic Party. She running around all this summer talking about she want to be the senator from Florida. You mean to tell me you can't go and help them children at Bethune-Cookman? So, listen, Val Demings, Benjamin Crump, who always running around looking for a death certificate for money, get off your ass and go help them children.
Right. Let's see who we got calling right now. Hold on just a second. What's going on, caller? You live? Talk to me.
Hey, SWAC Buzz and Mr. Ford, how y'all doing?
Doing great.
Jay, how you doing?
I'm a parent. I have a daughter at FAMU. And the only thing that I wanted to say is when Prime came to JSU, that was something that I thought was good for all of HBCU schools. And I thought that it was helping out everybody. Regardless of it being a rivalry, I thought it was good for everyone as a whole. The problem that I see now with the Ed Reed incident is there are a lot of people that were on the fence for sending their children to HBCUs, because I have a sister and a brother that were on the fence. And I fight them on a regular basis to convince them that that is an isolated incident at one institution, and it's difficult to change the tide in this situation. I'm up here in Chicago. My parents are from Arkansas and Mississippi. My dad's twin sister went to JSU. So I wanted my daughter to go to JSU, but she ended up at FAM. But what I'm saying is now the publicity that we're getting is negative.
Yeah.
And regardless of the fact, I mean, I don't want to steal too much of the time though, but
go ahead, you good.
I like that we're in the news, and I'm hoping that the pressure will be put on politicians and everyone else, because they're also being exposed, because the article that Mr. Ford referenced earlier, the Forbes article that came out a while back, we need to know that we've been failed on several other levels. Yes, we do have problems with local administration, but essentially an HBCU was founded for academics and not athletics. And if you do have a thriving athletic department, sometimes those monies are siphoned off for the wellness of the institution as a whole. So yes, I did want Ed Reed to stay at BCU because I had a niece go to BCU, but if it is not good for the institution as a whole, I do understand that. Thank you very much for taking my call.
All right, thank you. Give me 1 second, y'all. Got another call coming in. What's going on, Cardi Live? Talk to me.
What's going on, Sway Buzz, man? I'm just calling back to reiterate what Mr. Ford said.
Go ahead.
I'm not trying to plug nobody else, but HBCU Game Day did a whole interview with the AD to back up all Mr. Ford claims about, about DC and order, and about, Ed Reed knowing about the campus and all that stuff. And man, he went into great detail. I just feel like everybody should get a chance to, not only after they read what Mr. Ford said, go and watch their interview. He went all the way into it because, the AD is not a HBCU alum as well. And he just basically said he thought Ed Reed was on one accord with him, that if you're don't have the background of an HBCU alumnus, you should know that since they're not up to the part of a PWI, coming to an HBCU is like a calling. And that's why he said he chose Ed Reed. He go further into it, but he's back up what, Mr. Ford said. And also, I'm glad that last caller called, because it goes back to what you said, Swag, that how that dangerous rhetoric, when you got people on the outside looking in that does look like us, but they didn't have the HBCU background, or this is their first time coming, or their second and third generation, that makes it look a certain type of way when they keep hearing the outside noise. And that's why, like you said, it's so dangerous for people to talk on stuff that they don't know. They have not done their history. They don't understand the rich tradition that HBCUs have. But thank you so much for taking my call.
All right, thank you. So, yeah, with platforms like Undisputed, other platforms on ESPN, we need platforms like that to be putting pressure on these governments, on these local governments that's underfunding these HBCUs. That's what needs to be the main talking point. Just think, if you had Undisputed, First Take, you had all these big, huge platforms, Good Morning America, you had all these platforms talking about how HBCUs are underfunded. That's gonna put pressure on those governments to do right by HBCUs and give them the money that they supposed to have, that they stole from them. So I don't understand why these mainstream media companies won't do that. You have all the power. Can't nobody cut you off. They're not gonna cut Undisputed off because of that. But they don't want their bosses probably don't want them going that far, because it's gonna help HBCUs instead of hurting them. You could get on there and clown an HBCU or something like that, but as soon as you start using those platforms to help an HBCU, that's when issues arise. When you get into the hierarchy of the directors and stuff for those companies. Well, Mr. Ford, what you think about that?
Yeah. See, the major problem here is coming out of the 60s. Well, it really took place in the 70s. There was a plan called COINTELPRO that was put together by the FBI.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things they said they had to do was to weaken Black civil rights organizations. Because some people disagree with me. I think this is bigger than sports. I think this is a civil rights issue. But we really don't have strong civil rights organizations that were in place when, say, our parents were around in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
If you go back and read, it was called Racial Matters by Dr. Kenneth O'Reilly, who was at University of Alaska Anchorage. He talked about one of the things that the white power structure said was they had to weaken the black family, but they also had to destroy those black organizations. Now, the ones that wouldn't come into play, like SNCC, they totally destroyed SNCC. But they would allow the others to exist, but they would have no bite to them. You understand? No power to them. Because that's what like I said, this is a civil rights issue. This is a civil rights issue. This ain't just no sports. This ain't about no football.
Yeah.
It's bigger than that.
Yeah, I don't see how the federal government is allowing. I don't know if the federal government can step in and do anything, but it just.
Oh, they can. Yes, they can. Yes. They can.
They can
the
step
federal
in
government is giving out. Listen, one of the reasons Joe Biden is in that White House, he promised black people billions of dollars to bring those HBCUs up to standards. See, the thing about us historically is we will give the big white politicians our vote, but we won't hold them accountable. Go back and look at what he said. He said that he was going to pump billions into the HBCU. They need that money down at because all this stuff about this mold and mildew, somebody gonna die. Don't you know you would die from mold?
Yeah.
Somebody gonna die.
And the vice president is from a HBCU. So you would think that the federal government would be stepping in doing a little more for our schools.
Yeah. He promised that. Listen, Joe Biden, you say what you want. He know who put him in that White House. He know who voted solidly for him. He knows it because I've heard him say it. And he promised certain things to black folks for putting him in that White House. And one of the things he said was he was going to put billions into HBCUs to bring them up. He said it.
Right.
We got to hold him accountable.
And, I don't want people to think that, we bashing on Deandra because, she's a young woman and we want to see her go off and do great things. But you have to understand, you have to read the room. When you're in an interview like that, you can't let that host bait you into, disparaging the school like that. When you go out and do interviews like her and Coach Prime, what they should be doing, they should be talking positively about JSU when they have the opportunity to, because there's no reason for you to sit there and crap on JSU or say anything negative. There's no reason to do that. You're gone now. If you don't have anything positive to say, don't say anything at all, because you saying anything negative is only going to be weaponized against JSU. Go ahead, Ms. Ford. What you about to say?
Yeah, I was agreeing with you. Yeah, you're right.
It's only going to be weaponized against.
I'm just saying that this stuff. Listen, I've told y'all this, and I say it with all sincerity. Shannon Sharp is the third ignorantest black analyst on TV. The ignorant one is Shaquille O'Neal and Barkley Sucker. Shannon Sharp is third. That's why I don't listen to nothing they say. What they say goes in one of my ears and come out the other, because they are not important. Okay, I really think we're wasting too much time discussing people like Shannon Sharp. Okay, because that's a waste of time. But what I'm saying is that what is hurting us now is a lack of unity. I'm not saying we got to have 1 million folks, but we do need our business people, our intellectuals, our writers. We need to come together this time to help those. Remember, when those children go out to college, those are the best we got. Yeah. We got to take care of our children. Everybody takes care of their children. We got to take care of our children. That's a natural way of life. You take care of your kids. Them kids shouldn't have to live under, like I said, mold and mildew. And let me say this. I coach football. Don't you know that 2 and 3 people wearing the same football helmet is unsanitary.
Man, it's gross. I couldn't do it. I don't see how they doing it. There's no way I could, but there's no way I could do that. And I remember back in the day, in the band in high school, if you ever been in the band back in the day, people used to share mouthpieces. they used to share to take the mouthpiece out the instrument, wipe it out with their shirt and use it. It just I don't understand how I could not be sharing bodily fluids with folks like that. But I want to say a shout out to the Cut 2009 for your contribution. Thank you for the contribution to Super Chat to the channel. We definitely need more of that, to keep the channel going and keep the channel running. Appreciate that. Let me get to this next call. Hold on a second. What's going on, caller? You live? Talk to me.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing?
And Mr. Ford. Hey, look, I'm gonna be real quick, but I was listening to, I think that Mr. Ford was saying that about the COINTELPRO and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, let me tell you something else. Just my observation. Some people may like what I'm gonna say, or some people may like it, some may not. Another observation I've made is that another way they killed this the drive and the passion after the civil rights is that I noticed all of those students that Roland interviewed yesterday, the players that they interviewed, and all of them were speaking. None of those children were Black Americans, and the passion and the drive and the fight that we have, that our people had, in the civil rights and against a lot of stuff that go on. A lot of those people don't fight as hard and as we do. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think a lot of it seems kind of deep, but these people think deep. And if they're going to destroy the Black family, they're going to do this and do that, another way to do that is say, listen, let's put foreign Blacks out front and push the Black Americans to the back as far as speaking, because the like I said, the passion and the drive that we have to fight against this stuff, a lot of them people just don't have it, man.
It's a lot of truth to that, but that'll open up a whole nother can of worms that we ain't.
Yeah, I know that. Hey, listen,
that we don't need to get into. Yeah. That'll open up a whole nother can of worms. That's a whole.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. It's true, and sitting back as a Black American, I was just observing. I'm telling you, I know how Black Americans think, and all of them had accents. And when they interviewed the players, one of the guys was Olu Kandu, or the other little dude had an accent, and then the other little dude obviously wasn't Black. And he was doing the most talking, and then the student council, all of them was Caribbean, and one was African. And you're sitting there and you're looking at this stuff, and you're like, dang, they're speaking, but it just don't really register with a Black American. It may not be good, but I'm just telling you that's how it is, and that's what I observed.
All right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you. You.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for the call. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let me get to
all
this.
Right, man.
All right, thank you for the call. Yeah, that'll open up a whole nother can of worms, But shout out to our foreign brothers and sisters, that are riders. There might be a little bit of truth in what he's saying, but I know a lot of people that are Caribbean and African, that are riders that's riding, for our cause and want to see Black people do great. So let me see hold on just a second. Age is planning in schools. Dr. Umar Pan African. No, we ain't gonna turn this into a Dr. Umar show. But y'all can call in. The phone lines are open. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. What we doing on likes now? What the likes looking like tonight? Let's see what the likes looking like. Y'all showing love to the channel. and hitting the like button. We got 126 likes. Come on, y'all. We can get to 200. Let's get to 200 likes. Everybody hit the like button. Black people need to wake up. What is going on in this country? Post Trump now DeSantis. Oh man, we don't even want to get on DeSantis. I can't stand that dude. We don't even want to get on that. BCU is an Under Armour school. If they're sharing helmets, it's Under Armour fault. They supposed to sponsor. Well, I don't think Under Armour sponsor the helmets. It's usually like Riddell or something like that. They do the helmets. They just usually do the uniform. Where's the hurricane insurance money? That's a good question. Not particularly at JSU, but some schools don't have money to pay for upgraded instruments. That's all I was saying. Sometimes it goes back to funding. Yeah, Mr. Ford. So this thing, I'm ready for the season to start so we can just kind of get to football. You know, I'm so ready to get to football, but I understand we in the spring right now, and you know, stuff like this is gonna happen, and we're all gonna latch on to everything like that.
We were trying to tell them last year that the white power structure saw this whole Travis Hunter going to a black school.
Yeah.
These other kids, 4 and 5 stars transferring to black school. They saw it as a slave uprising. Go back and read. After Nat Turner had the Nat Turner rebellions and was caught, and then he was executed, they killed hundreds and almost thousands of blacks in Virginia. And what they did was they said that they wanted to strike fear in the hearts and minds of black men, women, and children, that they would never do that again. And so that's what they're doing now. They trying to make sure that they embarrass these HBCUs to the point that no black kid will ever want to go to an HBCU. And this is about recruiting, because what a lot of you don't understand, recruiting in America, whether it's for a football player, basketball player, track and field, that stuff adds up to trillions of dollars for them. See, we've gone from picking their cotton, which made them the richest country in the world, to playing ball for them, which is also making them very rich.
That it's some truth to that, but we also have to have some accountability, because the people that's being used to be harmful to HBCUs are black, you know. So we have to have some accountability too, with the kind of rhetoric that we're putting out there. Like I really, for the life of me, I can't understand someone with prominence and, you know, that's an influencer or a celebrity to get on their platforms and to talk bad about HBCUs. I don't even understand how they can even go into your mind to even do something like that when you know what's been going on these campuses. You know these schools are underfunded, and you just go out your way.
Now, don't forget, historically, black people are the only people in America who do not punish traitors. The government punishes their traitors. The ethnicities in this country, they punish their traitors. We're the only one. We glorify our traitors. We glorify our race traitors. We always have.
Well, I guess we can end the show on that. Mr. Ford, I thank you for coming on tonight. You know, you're always welcome. I love having you on the show. You're always very insightful. So, you know, you're always welcome here. I appreciate everybody tuning in to the channel. Make sure y'all hit the like button before you leave and before you step out. You know, into the replay game.
Can I say one thing?
Make sure you hit the like button.
One thing?
Go ahead, Ms. Ford.
Can I say one thing?
Go ahead.
I just want to say this to all the people that's listening. Remember what the book of Acts says. It says, pray about all things and worry about nothing. Y'all have a good night.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, y'all. The phone lines are still open. I'll take a few more calls if y'all call in. But man, I appreciate y'all tuning into the show tonight. You know, we talked about it a lot, you know, and I know people are gonna be mad. You know, I know people that are Coach Prime and Ed Reed fans, y'all are gonna be mad, but look at this. I'm not talking bad about Coach Prime. You know, I'm still a fan of Deion Sanders, you know, but I have to, when I see things wrong or when I see something negative being said about an HBCU and I think it's unfair, I'm gonna say something about it. you know, and you know, I'm not attacking his daughter because I've seen some people going in on his daughter, you know, but I just made an objective video, an objective conversation to combat what she said, because what she said was dangerous. You know, what she said, y'all be overthinking. See how we overthink it, Elo. Call up Elo and tell us how we overthink it. See, I be wanting people to call in that wolf in the comments like that. I want you to call in, tell us how we overthinking, tell us how we exaggerate. Now, African Rattler Dad, you know, Sags has already audited Bethune-Cookman a few months ago. But yeah, y'all, I appreciate y'all tuning in to the channel. We'll be dropping other videos. I'm also looking for an editor. Somebody knows an editor that wants to get down with the platform. I'm looking, you know, to hire an editor for the videos. So if anybody knows anybody like that, hit my email, swagBuzz@gmail.com. I'm looking to you know, see if I can get somebody to help me with the editing and things like that. But I appreciate y'all tuning into the channel. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. This a JSU channel. Well, it's a SWAC channel. Amani Abdullah is a SWAC channel. You know, we talk about the SWAC conference. That's pretty much what this channel is aimed at. So anything that happens in the SWAC conference, that's what we're gonna cover and talk about. But yeah, y'all, I appreciate y'all tuning in to the channel. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I'm gonna see you guys on the next one. I'm gone.